All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're diving into a world where all the bright minds, the geniuses, the Elon Musks of the world just say, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, they basically go on strike. What happens then? Chaos. That's the wild premise of Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
That name's like straight out of a comic book. Was she like some kind of philosophy superhero with a steel fist?
Not quite, but she definitely had some powerful ideas. Ayn Rand, this Russian-American writer and philosopher, came up with this whole system of thinking called Objectivism.
Objectivism sounds intense. So is this like worshiping those red swing line staplers from Office Space?
Not exactly. Objectivism has these four main pillars, and they're like the foundation of Atlas Shrugged. They shape the characters and the whole plot.
Okay, hit me with those pillars. Lay them on me.
All right, first up, reality exists outside of our opinions. Like, it's not all relative, there's an objective truth out there.
Makes sense so far. Keep going.
And how do we get to that truth? Reason, that's the second pillar, logic, facts, no fuzzy feelings.
I'm liking this so far. What's next?
Pillar number three is all about pursuing happiness. Hold on, there's a catch. It's about pursuing your own happiness ethically. So it's not about being a jerk, but about living in a way that helps you reach your full potential.
Okay, I can already see how this might rub some people the wrong way. What about that fourth pillar?
Yes. The one that really gets people talking, the fourth pillar, is that laissez-faire capitalism is the only moral system.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold up now. That's a bold statement. Why does she believe that?
Because Ayn Rand saw capitalism as this ultimate system that respects individual rights and allows for free exchange, which in her view is the very definition of morality.
Okay, so we've got this philosophy, objectivism, all about reason, self-interest, and like a hardcore love for capitalism. And this is the foundation of Atlas Shrugged.
Now picture this a world where all the brilliant minds, the innovators, the people who make things happen are constantly being held back by rules, taxes, and this feeling that they owe something to society.
Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Exactly, and that's a central conflict in Atlas Shrugged. You've got these brilliant, productive people, she calls them creators, constantly butting heads with the looters and moochers who want to control them or just ride on their coattails.
So like Elon Musk versus some bureaucrat who wants to tax his spaceships.
Perfect example. And the book really makes you think, where do you fall on this spectrum? Are you a creator building, innovating? Or are you, using Rand's terms, benefiting from the efforts of others without pulling your own weight?
Ouch. That's a tough question. I'm guessing Ayn Rand had some strong opinions about who's the good guy in this situation.
Oh, you bet. She portrays the creators as the heroes, the ones who drive progress and make things better for everyone. In her view, collectivism is like a wet blanket, stifling everything and leading to economic doom and gloom.
This is getting good. So it's not just about economics, right? Ayn Rand has this whole philosophy about how people should live their lives.
Absolutely. Remember that second pillar of objectivism, the one about reason being king? Well, Ayn Rand was all about reason as the key to success and happiness. And she was really skeptical of altruism, that idea of sacrificing yourself for others.
Wait, is she saying being selfish is a good thing?
Well, not selfish in the, kick puppies and steal candy kind of way. But she believed that focusing on your own rational self-interest ultimately makes the world a better place for everyone.
This is where things get really interesting, because that goes against everything we're taught about being good, helping others, all that stuff.
Exactly. It challenges conventional morality. One of the most famous parts of Atlas Shrugged is John Galt's epic speech, where he lays out this whole philosophy of rational self-interest and argues that self-sacrifice actually holds society back.
Okay, hold up. How long are we talking here? Like a TED Talk, a filibuster?
Think more like a philosophical dissertation. It's a whopping 60 pages, and it's where Ayn Rand really drops the mic on her vision for a world where individuals are free to chase their own goals and happiness without guilt or obligation.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. So we've got this world where all the creators are fed up and decide to go on strike. But how does this all go down in the book? What happens when the people who make everything just stop?
That's the heart of Atlas Shrugged. Remember the title Atlas, that Greek dude holding up the world? Well, Ayn Rand uses that as a metaphor. The producers, the creators, they're the Atlas figures carrying the weight of society. And when they decide to shrug, well, let's just say things get messy.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It makes you wonder, has anything like this ever happened in real life? Those movers and shakers, they're the ones carrying the weight of the world.
And when they decide they've had enough of holding everything up when they shrug, well, things go downhill pretty fast.
But is Ayn Rand really saying that society would totally collapse without these super achievers? Isn't that a bit dramatic, even for her?
She definitely paints a pretty bleak picture of what happens when these men of the mind, decide they're done. Businesses crash trains, stop running on time, and the whole system starts to break down like a car sputtering on fumes.
It's like a warning sign,
Yeah,
a cautionary tale about what could happen if we don't appreciate these creators and if we don't keep those regulations in check.
exactly. Ayn Rand's making a case that we need to recognize how crucial these people are to the whole system. And she's also saying that too much government interference is what drives these creators away in the first place.
Okay, let's talk about the government. It sounds like Ayn Rand wasn't a big fan of big government.
You could say that she thought the government's role should be super hands off, like a Zen master. It's just protecting individual rights, police courts, national defense, that kind of thing. Anything beyond that, like telling businesses what to do or redistributing wealth, is a big no no in her book, leading to more harm than good.
So no safety nets, no social programs, no minimum wage. That's pretty radical even for libertarians.
It is, and it's caused a lot of debate. But Ayn Rand believed that those kinds of programs actually hurt the people they're supposed to help. Her argument was that they create dependency and discourage people from taking responsibility for their own lives.
So in the world of Atlas Shrugged, the government is like the villain.
You could see it that way. The book portrays the government as this massive bureaucratic machine always trying to control the economy and stifle innovation, like a giant hand squashing the entrepreneurial spirit.
And this ties back to the creators going on strike, right? They're tired of being micromanaged and taken advantage of by the government. They just want to build their cool stuff and create amazing things without the government breathing down their necks.
Exactly. One key example in the book is this law called the Equalization of Opportunity Bill. Sounds good on the surface, right? But it backfires big time, hurting businesses and squashing competition.
Ah, the road to hell paved with good intentions. I'm starting to see how all of this connects to Ayn Rand's philosophy of individualism and her love of capitalism. She sees the government as messing everything up.
That's a great way to put it. Ayn Rand believed that when people are free to chase their dreams, it leads to innovation, economic growth, and everyone benefits.
But hold on, doesn't that assume that everyone's going to play fair? What about greed, corruption, all the bad stuff that can happen when you let the market run wild?
Those are valid concerns for sure, and they've been debated for a long time. But Ayn Rand had a very optimistic view of the free market. She thought it was self-correcting, like a magical system that always finds its balance.
So businesses that try to cheat or act unethically, they'd eventually fail. Customers would get smart and go somewhere else.
That's the idea. It all comes back to that core belief in individual responsibility and the invisible hand of the market guiding everything to a happy ending.
Okay, so we've got this epic battle between the creators and the government, with the creators deciding to leave and start their own utopia. But what about this John Galt guy? We keep hearing about him and his super long speech. What's his story and why is he so important?
John Galt is like the mysterious rebel leader, the Gandalf of a creator movement, a brilliant inventor and philosopher who embodies everything Ayn Rand believed in.
So he's like the poster child for Objectivism, the living embodiment of all those pillars we talked about.
Exactly. He's the one who convinces the other creators to join him in this strike and build their own society, a place where they can live by their own rules and create a world based on their own values.
And his big speech is where he explains everything, a world based on reason, individualism, and the pursuit of happiness.
It's the turning point of the novel. This passionate defense of reason, individualism, and the idea that everyone should be free to chase their own dreams without sacrificing themselves for others. It's like a total rejection of traditional morality, a call to embrace your inner egoist, and a big middle finger to the idea of self-sacrifice.
Wow, things are getting intense. I can see why Atlas Shrugged is still so controversial. It's like throwing a bomb into the world of conventional thinking.
It challenges a lot of deep-seated beliefs about how society should work, who deserves what, and what it means to be a good person.
It's making me think, and I'm sure our listeners are too.
Is meant to provoke, to challenge, to get people thinking about these big questions in a new way.
So what does this mean for us today? Why should we care about Ayn Rand and her ideas in the 21st century?
That's the million-dollar question. Atlas Shrugged might be old, but it's dealing with timeless questions that are just as relevant now as they were back then. We've been talking about Ayn Rand's big ideas, individualism, laissez-faire capitalism, dangers of government overreach.
We've explored how her philosophy plays out in this epic battle between the creators, the people who make the world go round, and the moochers who just want to ride their coattails. But let's be honest, this book is over 60 years old. Is it really still relevant today? Does it have anything to say to us in the age of, TikTok and self-driving cars?
That's the question that's been bugging scholars and readers for decades, and honestly, there's no simple answer. It's like asking if bell-bottoms are still cool.
Okay, so let's break it down. What parts of Atlas Shrugged feel like they were ripped from today's headlines?
Well, think about those tech giants like Google and Amazon. They're like the real-life versions of the creators in Atlas Shrugged, disrupting everything, pushing the boundaries of innovation. And then there's that growing concern about income inequality, the gap between the rich and the poor. That's a huge theme in the book. And of course, the never-ending debates about the role of government. Should it be a nanny state or hands-off? These are all issues that Ayn Rand was grappling with back in the 1950s, and they're still front and center today.
So even though the technology and the details have changed, the underlying themes still resonate. It's like she predicted the future, but with fewer flying cars and more smartphones.
Ayn Rand's warnings about the dangers of stifling innovation and punishing success, they feel even more relevant now in a world where entrepreneurship and tech are driving the global economy.
Okay, but let's flip the coin. Are there any parts of Atlas Shrugged that feel a little outdated, like a rotary phone in a world of iPhones?
One of the biggest criticisms of Ayn Rand is that she focuses so much on the individual that she kind of ignores the importance of community and social responsibility.
Yeah, that whole rational self-interest thing can sound a bit cold in a world where we're facing things like climate change and global poverty that need us to work together. It's like she missed the memo on the importance of collaboration.
Exactly. And her hardline stance against any kind of government intervention can seem a bit extreme in a world where we see the need for environmental regulations and consumer protections.
So it's a mixed bag. Some parts of Atlas Shrugged feel super current, and others feel like they belong in a museum.
That's a fair assessment. But no matter what you think about Ayn Rand, there's no denying that Atlas Shrugged is a powerful book. It's like a philosophical roller coaster that takes you through some of the biggest questions about human nature, society, the meaning of life.
It definitely stays with you. And even if you don't agree with everything she says, it's worth thinking about her ideas and seeing how they've shaped our culture.
I agree. It's a book that sparks conversations, challenges what you thought you knew, and makes you examine your own values and beliefs. Love her or hate her, Ayn Rand was a force to be reckoned with.
So final verdict. Should everyone run out and read Atlas Shrugged? Is it the ultimate guide to life, the universe, and everything?
I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but I definitely recommend it to anyone who's interested in big ideas about philosophy, economics, and how society works. It's like a mental workout.
And who knows, maybe you'll agree with Ayn Rand on a few things. Or maybe you'll be totally enraged by her ideas. Either way, it's a journey worth taking.
Exactly. You'll come away from Atlas Shrugged with a new perspective on the world.
All right, listeners, before we go, we want to leave you with one last thought-provoking question. What if all the talented people, the creators, the innovators, decided to go on strike, just like in Atlas Shrugged? What would happen to your life? What would the world look like without the people who make the things you depend on every day? Something to think about.
And if this deep dive into Atlas Shrugged has got you curious and you want to check it out yourself, you can find a link to buy the book in the description below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the amazing world where philosophy and economics collide. We'll see you next time.